18 months ago, SYM TV didn't exist. One post on Reddit changed all that. In that 18 months, SYM TV is streamed over 275 times, accumulated 59,000 views, and viewers have watched for 612,951 minutes, 15,340 comments, 2,691 shares. Viewers have watched from the US, Canada, Germany, Spain, France, the United Kingdom, Australia, India, Brazil, and Finland. 800 people have hit the red button to come back and watch weekly and turn SYM TV into a truly global sim racing network. We didn't quite know 18 months ago how far the iRacing League community went, but we know now. So it's time to play our part in bringing this community that built us together for one night of racing. It's time to tear down the walls of familiarity, and time to race with your competitors, and not against them. Up to 10 drivers from each league featured on SYM TV will race together at Watkins Glen and at Michigan Speedway, in a two-race dogfight for superiority and bragging rights. Fuel.
And Greg Evans, in a half a lap, will get to experience that for the first time in the Fuel Cup Series.
Outsiders.
But he's going to come through turns 3 and 4, and it's going to be redemption for him here at Kansas.
Three-wide racing.
Sam close out of turn 4 in the wall.
Oh, he gets to the wall. They made contact. Who's going to get that?
SPEC MX-5 Sim Racing Challenge.
He misses his mark in the corner. He's going to have to cut through the grass. Head takes the lead there.
3 wide for second place.
GRIDLIFE iRacers.
Oh, he lifted. I can't believe he lifted. 30 seconds left in the race. It's going to be white flag this time.
And the very first league to ever run on SYM TV, the SYM Championship Racing Series. And tonight, drivers will climb into their rigs for the first annual SYM TV League Showdown. And it all begins now.
Can the 4-car get there again? Not quite. Eli Hinton back to the bottom, 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak in victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down hot in these curves. Up and over. There's that cannon running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2-car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over. Down into turn 1. There goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13-car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2. Under a veil of darkness here at Tsukuba Raceway, the SYM TV League Showdown begins for 2019. My name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finny and Nakuna. This is the first annual running of the 2019 SYM TV League Showdown, and we start our night with the SYM TV League Showdown Open at Tsukuba, and there's only 4 drivers entered in here. One of them is going to get to go through to run in the event later, with all 50 drivers at Watkins Glen International and the MX-5, and at Michigan Speedway in the COT. So there's one final chance for these 4 drivers: Connor Horn, Reggie Ortega, Ben Bafford, and Jeremiah Vincent, all trying to get their opportunity to run in the SYM TV League Showdown later this evening. Finian, funny thing is, they're all part of the same league.
Yeah, I know. It is really funny when you think about it, that every single one of these guys all race for the same league. And it's still amazing because Outsiders still filled up the roster with people, so it's kind of impressive to see still that their guys wanting to get in. And some fast names too. I mean, Connor Horn and Ortega, we both know that they're fast. Even Jeremiah Vincent as well.
So while this is going on, the normal entrants are qualifying for the Michigan race. You can't start more than 43 drivers at Michigan. We have 50 drivers entered, so we have to whittle down the field a little bit. But these drivers, one of these drivers, will get to skip that entirely. And right now, Finny, and I'm looking at that 22 of Connor Horn as probably the favorite to win this race. As qualifying is complete, and Connor Horn is going to be on pole. This is a 10-minute race for one final opportunity to get yourself in if you were not drafted into the showdown, and it begins in just a moment. 10 minutes, it's going to be about 10 laps, Finny, in a real short sprint race to see that last spot through.
Yeah, these guys are also going to have to do, as you can see, in the veil of darkness. So it's going to be a hell of a race I think these guys are going to put on for. It's going to be pretty cutthroat, I imagine, for that final spot into the show.
Absolutely. We're not going to run the ticker on this one. There's only 4 drivers to be concerned about. They're going to be in your sight the entire time, but we'll later have a color-coded ticker for everyone running in the race. The Watkins Glen race server goes up in about 15 minutes. We'll see you there in just a few moments, but for now, we're going to do the battle here for 4 drivers. Connor Horn, Jeremiah Vincent, Reggie Ortega, and Ben Bafford, all Outsider Racing League drivers. I think Ben Bafford technically only runs VRL, but same thing there. So whoever wins this gets to move on and run the event later, and there are prizes at stake for the event later this evening. So standing start, here we go. 10 minutes at Tsukuba. Connor Horn in the number 22, that McDonald's Miata in the Veil of Darkness. Here we go. Green flag flies, racing at Tsukuba to kick off the 2019 League Showdown.
Yep, and Connor Horn with a fantastic start, as well as Ben Bafford. Reggie Ortega, not so much. He's going to drop all the way back into 3rd immediately.
These drivers come from an oval background. This is like kind of the opposite side of the coin from what they usually do. So Reggie Ortega in 3rd. He's got the Mazda paint. The 93 Le Mans victory, 92 Le Mans victory on that number 3 car. Trying to follow Ben Bafford through, but Connor Horn out like a rocket, and he wants his way into that all-star race later this evening, and he already has a great shot at it. Bafford and Ortega fighting for 2nd behind him. Jeremiah Vincent trying to follow, but 4th isn't going to do it here.
Yeah, 4th isn't going to do it, neither is 3rd, neither is 2nd for that matter. Everyone's going to be chasing down Connor Horn, who already has a pretty solid lead.
Yeah, Connor Horn already 1.6 seconds out in front. He was so dominant in the Outsider Racing League, they asked him not to come back the next season, so he actually hasn't run in ORL, so I'm not even sure if we should enter him as an Outsiders driver or an independent driver if he makes it in, but already has an enormous lead, and 1 lap already complete as the 22 rounds that final corner. Bafford trying to chase him down, and actually did gain a little bit through that final sector.
Yeah, he's been gaining a bit. And how about if Ben Bafford were to get in? I mean, he's kind of the asterisk in this scenario, just saying only racing VRL, but for the most part, both leagues, most of the drivers carry over, except for Ben. If he can get this win here, and he's got a good shot at it at the moment, that would be a big upset.
Now, these 2 drivers here, Ben Bafford and Reggie Ortega, they are not friends. They had actually a run-in the VRL race last Friday at Mid-Ohio, and Ortega goes to the inside of Bafford side by side in the pitch black. It's hard to see much of anything out there, let alone another competitor.
Oh, and you can see
Whoa.
a little bit of that anger in that driving as Ortega pinched Bafford to the apex. It's still not over yet.
Oh, wow. Side by side. Incredible battles here for 2nd, but it's not going to be for the top spot, which is all that matters. Brake rotors glowing on the 3 cars. He rounds Ben Bafford in the 5 and begins to try to pull away, but Bafford looks to the outside again. Still side by side for 2nd.
Yeah, still by side racing down the back straightaway. Connor Horn is loving this as the 2nd place guys are fighting and getting caught up with each other.
Yeah, Horn's out to a 3.7 second lead, all out in front. He's got 7 minutes and 45 seconds to claim his spot in the SYM TV Showdown and help out a league that basically booted him out, or he can run as an independent up to him. But for 2nd place, Bafford still putting pressure on the back of that 3 car.
Yeah, he's not giving it up just yet. He's still going after it, and Ortega is trying to get away from him and focus his sights on that 22.
Brake rotors glowing on these cars. These little Miatas have little brakes. They don't weigh a whole lot, but they're standing on them right now, trying to get everything they can out of the machines. But it's that 22, that McDonald's colored vehicle of Connor Horn that's just stepped out and has taken just an absolute lead away from Ortega. It's 4.3 now and continues to grow. But this is a talent, Finian, that's probably one of the best we've seen, at least on the oval side of SYM TV, but already showing his prowess in road. And if he gets in, he could be a threat at Watkins Glen later this evening.
Yeah, and again, solid dominance at the moment. He's also running almost 2 seconds faster than the guys behind him right now.
And Bafford took a look to the inside of Ortega, tried to get his sight in the mirror. Wasn't able to do it. Ortega rounds out the final corner a little bit lower than Bafford. Bafford carried more speed out to the exit of the turn. Now down into turn 1, almost halfway through this already. And 2nd, oh, Reggie Ortega's loose. Here comes Bafford back to the rear bumper.
And here they come. This battle will resume yet again. Well, Bafford also pinched Ortega. He already did it. Ortega already did it to him once, and Bafford, no, gonna give him room.
I mean, we told you these guys don't really like each other that much. And this is probably about as intense as it's going to get all night between these 2 drivers. Over the curbs under the Dunlop Bridge.
And here they come side by side into the hairpin at the top. They're about to get onto the back straightaway. Brake rotors glowing for both of them.
Red hot brakes, maybe red hot tempers last week for these 2. And the funny thing is, if they were both entered in the All-Star, they would have to work together, but neither of them are. And Connor Horn up the road. Oh, here's a pullout on the Ortega machine. That's Baffert in the 5. Took a look, couldn't do it. But look at Connor Horn. He's so far gone. He's not even in the same camera shot.
Yeah, he's pretty much checked out. He's just gone through turn 1 while these guys are still heading down towards her on the straightaway.
And a reminder, this is not really part of the League Showdown. The qualifying for the Michigan race is happening right now, whittling the field down from 50 to 43. For the oval race, we will allow all 50 to start at Watkins Glen. So the itinerary is essentially this race, and then Watkins Glen, and then Michigan to round out the evening in the 900 horsepower COT Impala. We're really looking forward to that one. Right now, though, deciding who that 43rd spot gets to go to for Michigan, and right now it's looking like it's going to be Connor Horn.
Oh, Ortega slow and just let Baffert on by. What on earth happened?
Maybe a slowdown potentially for that number 3. Let's go back and take a look.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right before the Dunlop Bridge. I'm not sure what exact turn number that is, but...
Oh, yeah, that was a big cut there on the inside of the curb, and the curbs aren't super wide here, so had to slow down and give that spot up. But again, second will get you nothing. Horn up the road by 7.6 seconds. Finian, this is just absolute obliteration, and maybe he does deserve that spot on the Outsider Racing League team to compete in the showdown.
Yeah, honestly, I felt that he probably should have been on the list already. I mean, we've seen the utter dominance that he's had. I mean, you could argue that he's not that much associated with the league anymore, but when he was, he had a phenomenal season, and it's honestly going to make it more exciting with him in the field. I'm curious on how he's going to do.
I think he's going to do really well, and looking at how much time he's putting on the rest of the field, I think it's safe to say that even Watkins Glen, which is the one we thought would be the weak spot for the oval drivers, I think he'll do just fine here. We have a really highly rated list of road course drivers signed up for the Watkins Glen race as well as the Michigan race, including IMSA driver Tom O'Gorman, Eric Coutil from GLTC, DJ Alessandrini from GLTC, numerous track battle, track day drivers also in that race. It's going to be a tough field to beat, but so will the oval side, and I think Connor Horn is good enough to win the Michigan race.
And we'll find out indeed as we're winding down on time. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
For second place, Ben Baffert. Certainly hasn't quite found the success on the oval side of things, but I think he describes himself as a road racer, and I think that's clear. He's really got a lot of talent here. But Connor Horn is just on another level right now. 9.3 seconds. We've only been out here for 7 laps.
Yeah, and it's only going to expand before the checkered flag comes out. You know, you could argue that these guys probably figure what was going to happen when the green flag dropped. I think they know that this 22 in this case, was the man to beat.
Brake rotor's glowing. Actually, the rear rotor's glowing as well. And all the heat in that driver, all the talent behind the wheel. It's Connor Horn leading this race. He's led the entire thing, and it's only 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. Meanwhile, behind, Baffert and Reggie Ortega still fighting for a second, but that's going to do them no good.
Yeah, it's going to do them no good at this point. Yeah, kind of unfortunate. You know, they can battle with each other, but they know that no matter what order they're going to finish in, as long as they're not first, it's not really going to matter for too much.
And Jeremiah Vincent really hasn't had the pace here in this race, and unfortunately sitting in fourth. His best lap time, a 104.9, which is about 2.5 seconds off of leader's best time. So Connor Horn, 9.4 now. It's going to be 2 laps to go when he gets back to the start-finish line. And he's going to solidly make his way into the event as long as he doesn't make a mistake these next 2 laps.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only thing that he can't afford to do is do a Sebastian Vettel and make a mistake while you're in the front. So he's got 2 more minutes to make it back to the start-finish line. If he does, he'll be moving on.
In absolute darkness. It takes skill to drive a road course at day. It takes skill to drive a road course at night. But for Connor Horn, it doesn't seem to matter. Headlights illuminating his way and potentially a way to victory tonight to help out a league that once ousted him. Down into the final corner, 2 laps to go for leader Connor Horn. 1 minute and 33 seconds left.
You can see, too, just looking at him, that there's no headlights behind him, and there you can see finally coming out of the final turn, you can see some headlights emerging.
So for Connor Horn, road racing maybe not his specialty per se, but he's really good at it, and this is what the guys from GRIDLIFE and the guys from SCARS and the guys from SPEC MX-5, the 3 road racing leagues participating in the event tonight, those guys have to watch out for people like Connor, because the skill does transfer over. Maybe not a linear relationship from oval to road, but it certainly does transfer. There's something about Connor Horn that just clicks on both the twisty stuff and the left-hand turn tracks. So Connor's got it figured out, and he's only got to go for another lap and a half. Headlights from the opposite side of the racetrack illuminating the way. Ben Bafford wanted into the event in that number 5 machine. But you just see those headlights disappearing off into the final corner, and it's going to be just a little too short for that 5. White flag in the air for Connor Horn. He takes the final lap one more time around this short little course in Japan for Connor Horn to solidify his spot in the showdown.
Yeah, and again, just an absolute dominant performance here. Question remains, how is he going to stack up against most of the field? I think we can kind of figure out how he's going to do on the oval side of things, but the road is where I'm really curious.
So in just a moment after Connor wins this race, he'll be entered in the Watkins Glen road race. It's a 20-minute event with 6 different leagues, 50 drivers from every corner of the sim racing hobby, all going for it for 20 minutes around the Glen, and then we're going to let him turn him loose at Michigan for 35 laps before the night is out. Connor Horn, only a couple corners left, and he'll be in the All-Star race. Maybe not the most exciting race on Sim TV, but it's going to gear him up to enter the most exciting race on Sim TV. Connor Horn through the final corner, checkered flag waving, and Connor Horn's going to be in the Sim TV League Showdown in 2019 with a dominant performance in the Open. Wow. He made that look easy.
Yeah, great job there by him just to do that.
All right, so qualifying is complete now for the drivers at the Michigan racetrack. And so we have our 42 set, and it'll be 42 plus Connor Horn for that Michigan race. That'll be later this evening at about 10:25. Coming up in just a moment, Watkins Glen International for 20 minutes with some of the best drivers on Sim TV. We're going to take a short break to load into the new session. Stay with us. We're not going anywhere. We'll be right back.
To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars. Found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that is not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered Lancer? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air. This is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. and for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
welcome back live to SYM TV. It's time for the 2019 SYM TV League Showdown. My name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finian Dacuna. And Finian, I'm really excited about this one. We have well over 45 people entered for this race. You take a look at our tower ticker on the left-hand side of the screen. There is the entire tower of drivers competing in tonight's race, color-coded to the league they participate in. Fuel, orange, 3-wide, blue. Outsider Racing League, gold. GRIDLIFE iRacers is teal. SPEC MX-5 is white, and SCARS is red. Finian, it's a huge field of cars tonight. Watkins Glen for 20 minutes, and it's going to be a fun battle. I'm hyped.
Yeah, honestly, there's a good chance if you're watching, this is probably one of the biggest MX-5 fields you'll ever see. This is a huge amount of cars here on the track. I can constantly hear, even though I'm seeing one car going around the track at the time, I can hear 20 others going around the track as well.
So just getting underway here as we look down from high above, and Finian, again, 20 minutes is on the board, and I'll try and take a cursory glance here. There should be about 50 people in this race, so if you start 45th, how do you attack this one?
If you start 45th, I think the best thing to do is watch out for wrecks. There's going to be absolutely no cautions during this event, the way we have it set up. If a guy spins, try to avoid them, because no one's going to be slowing down for you, and no one behind you is going to probably be slowing down either. So the big key, if you're in the back of the pack, wait, watch out for any incoming wrecks. Try to avoid it as best you can, which is going to be hard to do, because the first part of Watkins Glen, very tight track.
So a whole lot of cars lined up to race this one, and paint scheme's still loading in here. See Fakachi in the 00 running for SCARS. Again, the stripe and the logo on the side is color-coded to the league that they run, and again, that color code on the bottom left of your screen on the bottom of the ticker to keep you informed on who is what. So this point scoring system is essentially this. The top 25 cars will score points. First place gets 25 points, second place gets 24, so on and so forth. The top 3 drivers in each league are the only ones eligible for points. So if you don't have any of your drivers finish in the top 25, you get no points. Those points will be added amongst all the drivers and between Watkins Glen and Michigan, and that's how we will determine our winning league. So I think it's pretty safe to say, looking at the ticker right now, Finian, GRIDLIFE's got this one in pretty good hands.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, they got some of the best drivers, a lot of them real-life drivers as well. You know, guys that really know what they're doing and knowing their stuff. I think both you and I could pretty much predict that they're going to dominate the road race, and pretty much all the 3 of the road leagues, we expected them to pretty much dominate this race. A little bit of mix over in the oval race, but you know, you never know. You're going to have those few drivers from the other leagues that kind of hide their talents, and you don't really know where they're going to end up. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for. Yeah,
if you take a look at 7 of our top 8 are GRIDLIFE iRacers drivers. The only one in that top 8 that is not is Chris Henn, who originally was going to run for GRIDLIFE iRacers, but then switched over to run the SPEC MX-5 series. That's why he's highlighted in white. So Jesse Stevens in the 36, Finian, he's going to be running the Watkins Glen race, but actually did not qualify for the oval race, so he will not be able to compete in the Michigan event. So they better hope, SPEC MX-5 better hope that they have quick guys for the oval race at Michigan here coming up in a little while.
And speaking of which, too, John DeAllen was the last guy to actually make it, and he was the 42nd guy fastest on the timesheet, so he just narrowly made it into the oval race. So very close stuff here for these guys.
Of course, Connor Horn in that number 48 car entered here, and Connor was the one that just qualified in at Tsukuba, so congratulations to him. He'll be competing, and is he going to get a lap time? And we've had 41 drivers lay down a lap time. Horn across the line, does he put one down? I don't see one recorded just yet, but it might take a second for it to update. But Robert Hartley by 0.3 of a second on top of the field. I'd be lying if I said I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I think both you and me knew what was coming at that point.
The other driver that we're keeping an eye on is the 94 of Tom O'Gorman, competitor in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, and has been a driver on SYM TV for quite some time, running in the GRIDLIFE iRacers Championships, and just won the GRIDLIFE iRacers Stadium Super Truck Series that concluded last night, a spectacular race at the Charlotte Roval. You should go back and watch that one before the night is out. Qualifying is over and complete. Robert Hartley, Chris Henn, DJ Alessandrini on the podium. At the rear of the field, oh boy, Travis McQuistion all the way back in 49th place. Here we go. Pace lap. It's a rolling start for this race, and the entire field gridding to go racing. Oh, it's 20 minutes long, and that's going to be about 10 laps, give or take. As the field slowly makes their way onto the grid. And I'm really keeping an eye on the oval drivers in this one, Finn, because we know the oval drivers will be comfortable at Michigan, but will they be comfortable and good enough to be able to run well here at Watkins Glen? Where did Connor Horn qualify? He's way at the back of the field, and we know he'll be good at Michigan later, so this is going to be really interesting, I think.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely going to be interesting. Both races really to see, you know, the crossover. We have 3 predominantly road leagues and 3 predominantly oval leagues. So seeing that crossover and really seeing where guys end up, that's pretty much the reason why we hosted this in the first place.
All right, so we're just trying to see who is good at what and how good they are at each. So the field gridding up. We're going to go through our starting lineup because God knows it's going to take a long time to roll through. We're just going to let it roll along the bottom of the screen. We're not going to bother calling it out because we'll be tired and need a glass of water by the end of it. Here's your starting lineup on the bottom of the screen. And they're rolling through now. Hartley, Henn, your front row. But it's a deep field of talent all the way back. That's 25 rows of MX-5 Miatas. Predictions.
Predictions, I think the GRIDLIFE guys are going to pretty much walk away with this. It's just a question of where does... I think for really my question is where do the rest of the guys end up?
That's the 23, Mark Emerson, and the 28, who I believe that was... trying to see... Well, that's a long list to scroll down on the timing and scoring screen, I'll tell you that. And the field's going to roll off here for one timed pace lap. I think that's... It's not Grunberg in the 28. It's a long list of drivers. All right, field rolling off for one pace lap here. The Porsche pace
David
car.
Wilson.
David Wilson, thank you for updating me on that. If I could show you how tiny my little scroll bar is on my timing and scoring screen, I think you'd really enjoy it.
If I could also show you how bad my computer is struggling to load every single car.
Mine's actually running really well. I'm actually really impressed with how mine's running.
Yeah, honestly, you have the better computer now, which was not the case for a very long time.
Yeah, it's actually running perfectly smooth right now. I'm very thrilled with how it's running. So all those colored machines rolling off. I see a lot of yellow and blue towards the rear of the field here, Finian. And all the way in the back, there is a lonely GRIDLIFE iRacers machine. That's the number 71. That's Ryan Carwile, who was a late entrant to the series. And heading up the hill now, Eric Coutil in that number 82, a GLTC driver. He's starting, I don't want to say deep in the field, but he's starting back a couple rows from the front, for sure. Onto the back straightaway now. This is, if we can get here by the end of lap 1 without a major incident, I think that would be a really impressive feat. I think the S is funneling down. It's going to be a hard place to get any passing down the opening lap. There's just going to be too many cars in the way. And here we go into the bus stop for the first time. This is awesome.
Yeah, I really need to turn down some of my settings here. My computer's about to crash.
Well, if it does, I'll keep you updated on what's going on. So again, it'll be about 10 laps. It's 20 minutes long. The field rolling through. Everyone entering the downhill the boot here. Over 100 feet of elevation change heading down the hill and up the hill here at Watkins Glen. The lowest point, what we're looking at right there, the toe of the boot. Originally, we were going to run the short course here, what NASCAR runs, but we decided to be too much of a draft fest. We decided we'd run the longer configuration and let the road guys have a little bit of fun, because they're not going to be having a whole lot of fun in the stock car race coming up in about a half an hour. Halfway through our pace lap. 25 rows. This is the most cars I've ever seen in one shot, because when GRIDLIFE had 60 cars, I couldn't even have them all on my screen at once.
Yeah, and also then the time when you had the Porsche Cup, that your computer went bye-bye.
Yes, it did.
That one.
All right, heading back towards the front of the field, DJ Alessandrini in the 91. That's one of the drivers you got to keep an eye on. He's really good at running these MX-5s. You see a lot of teal in those front couple rows. Again, the field will be color-coded on the ticker. You can follow along with your favorites. Oval versus road. We know that GRIDLIFE's probably going to wipe the floor here. But at Michigan in about a half an hour, we're not quite sure who's going to take the cake. Field rolling out of the boot now. Back onto the short course to get ready to go racing. Just now, my starting lineup completed there, Funny. And so it took an entire pace lap to do that.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. through the final corner. We're going to get ready to go racing. It's the 2019 SYM TV League Showdown, and it begins right now. The green flag's about to fly, the pace car rolling off. Which league is the quickest on SYM TV? We're gonna find out. Green flag flies, racing at the Glen.
Yep, and everyone racing down towards turn 1, and a huge amount of cars.
And everyone, this is where the admins of the race are going to be very, very careful, as everyone just tries to get through here without too much incident. So far, we're seeing 2 and 3 wide. I hear some contact towards the rear. That's a 71 a car while he's off course, spinning down through the first corner, but everyone else, I think, made it through okay. We climb the hill now, action towards the front. Did Tom O'Gorman just go 5th, the first in one corner? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did, and I'm not surprised by that, but it's not over yet. He's got Robert Hartley now going side by side. Everyone's going side by side into the bus stop.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. We're 2 and 3 wide. So many cars deep. Here we go into the inner loop. A field of buzzing Miatas. It's like a swarm of mosquitoes. I think everyone made it through okay, other than that light little spin down in the first corner. Robert Hartley got the lead away. O'Gorman slipped through the inner loop and gave up a couple spots. Action behind. There's Kurt Crum in the middle of it. That number 7, the Scars paint on board the red. Right behind him, Gruenberg in the 3 wide racing number 22. And Thomas Bresci in a SPEC MX-5 number 24.
Yeah, you can start to see some more color diversity as you look 10th on back with a bunch of guys up there. Gruenberg at the moment looks to be the highest 3 wide driver.
3 and almost 4 wide on an opening lap, but everyone beginning to get strung out now. It's Hartley out front by 0.2 of a second over DJ Alessandrini. I heard an engine blow. I'm not sure if that was just netcode or not, but heard someone's motor explode. But I think everyone's okay. Connor Horn all the way back in 41st position. If you see the ticker spazzing out, don't worry about that. It's just because apparently I have not everyone visible, about 40 of them visible, so the last 10 when I swap. Brian Newton down in the pit lane finishing. Ooh, big damage on that 63. Let's go back and quickly see what happened to him. This is probably... I wasn't... Oh, he just... Something... I don't even know what happened to him, Finny.
Turn 1, down into turn 1.
We're going to head back live, though, because Hartley leads Alessandrini right behind. Whoa, there's a pass going on. That's the 51 popping out of line. That's Austin Barnes in the 33 car. That's Christopher Henn looking to the inside now.
Yeah, Henn looking to the inside to make a pass up in the front here.
Down into turn 1, our first lap through. We've only lost a couple cars. Scars cars 2 wide. Here comes the 88 of Eric Hutton. He's going to try to make it 3. Couldn't do it, though. Climbing the hill again. Tom O'Gorman trying to close in on the 2 leaders, but they're side by side for the top spot. Alessandrini and Hartley.
Yeah, these guys not resting out, and remember, they're working together in this scenario, not so much working against each other, so I'm curious how nice they're going to play. Because if both of them wreck, it's not going to look good for them.
Towards the rear, there's still passing going on, but the top spot's still taken. The first 3, all GRIDLIFE iRacers cars. 4 of the top 5 are iRacers cars, heading GRIDLIFE iRacers cars. Christopher Henn, the first SPEC MX-5 driver. Sitting, actually, no, that's Jesse Stevens in the 36 is the first SPEC MX-5 driver. He's running quite well. Eric Coutil all the way back in 12th. He's behind Matt Gruenberg, Thomas Bresci, some other leagues there. 3 wide. ORL Scars represented here as well.
Kurt Crum also carrying the banner for Scars right now, currently in 9th with a great run.
Cars everywhere as we complete our second lap here in just a moment. But it's still Alessandrini, Hartley, your top 2. Mark Emerson in the 23, an outsider racing league driver that thought he'd actually have something to say about the road race. Here he is sitting in 13th at the moment. Oh, some pushing and shoving. That's the 39 of DeCouger and Luke McGrew in the 18. They got together for a moment. There's Steve Ficacci in the 00 right behind them, trying to find a way through.
Yeah, a big sack up and all. Luke McGrew was trying to throw it to the inside of DeCouger. Couldn't get a gun. DeCouger to the inside of Emerson now.
Oh, the 00 ran a bit wide, got out of the boot, up onto the grass. I see right back there, that's a 76 of Mitch Welker for fuel. Haven't seen a lot of orange near the front of the field for this one yet.
Oh, DeCouger sideways into the wall hard.
Yeah, DeCouger, big time impact. That's going to be it for the 39, I think. You do have 1 fast repair. Will he use it? Let's go back, take a quick look at what happened. Easy to slip. Maybe he caught the grass here on corner exit. Oh, yes, he caught the curb on the inside. It was inside Mark Emerson. and trying to find a way to pit road. He has now as we head back to the top spot. Alessandrini still holding the lead right over Hartley, but here's O'Gorman right in the bumper as well.
Yeah, these guys kind of duking and diving with each other.
We're 3
behind
wide.
them.
Oh, for a moment we were 3 wide for the lead, but behind him you mentioned Ken Halseal and Jesse Stevens side by side for 4th.
Yeah, those guys, remember, they're competing against each other, so they're going to be going at it. And I saw also Kurt Crum trying to get past Austin Barnes in the 51.
I see some blue in there as well. That's the 22 of Grunberg. Very well-rounded race car driver, sitting 12th at the moment. Anything inside the top 15 is honestly very, very impressive. Through the inner loop again, there's another gold driver I see. Jeffrey Arroyan was not able to qualify for the Michigan race, but he is running 17th right now for Scars at Watkins Glen. There's David Wilson in the 28 following Arroyan, Mitchell Peak from the MX-5 Challenge, and Steve Ficacci in that 00. So our top running fuel driver at the moment, I believe, is Zach Buchanan, all the way back in 20th place. So we're not having a spectacular start to the event so far.
Yeah, remember, only, well, I say remember, we made the point system in the first place, but top 25 are the only guys getting points here tonight, so very valuable to finish inside those positions, even if it's just a few points, because everyone 26 on back will get knocked.
Mitch Welker has fallen towards the rear of the field. He was battling with Buchanan the last time through, so something happened in the 76.
Yeah, he's actually called it a day for this race. Really unfortunate for Walker.
Yeah, so crash there. Mark Emerson, Luke McGrew, these guys are still fighting. They've been fighting for the first couple minutes, and they refuse to give it up. The top 3 drivers, actually top 4, still GRIDLIFE iRacers. IMSA driver Tom O'Gorman sitting in 3rd place right now, behind Alessandrini and Hartley, maybe waiting for them to make a mistake, or maybe just planning to wait to the end to make a move. Very impressive, clean racing so far, though, I gotta say. Here's a pass for position. That's Kurt Crum in the number 7 to the inside of Barnes. It's going to send Barnes way out over the edge of the curve as they exit turn 1.
Yeah, Crum wants a spot because right now he's giving Scars as many points as they can. At the moment, he's their leading driver, but again, he's got to be careful. He can't afford to take himself out.
Steve Ficacci following McGrew and Mark Emerson. This trio has been fighting insanely hard for the first couple laps of the race. And here comes McGrew to the outside now.
McGrew trying to join his fellow GRIDLIFE drivers, but that he's now opened the door. Here comes Ficacci trying to take advantage. He goes to the inside of McGrew and Emerson. They're 3 wide.
Oh boy, 3 wide heading into the bus stop. That's a recipe that doesn't always work. Here they go again, and they somehow do it. Incredible driving there by all 3 of those drivers from 3 different leagues, racing door to door without contact at Watkins Glen. That's spectacular stuff.
Yeah, and actually Emerson got Ficacci on the exit because Ficacci charged in so hard, so Emerson taking that back.
Jumping up to Thomas Bresci, he's side by side with Eric Coutil. Coutil's going to get the better of him, and here comes Grunberg in the 22. This is a spectacular race so far for him. I'm very, very pleased with how it's running. Up at the top, though, let's not let you forget those 4 GRIDLIFE iRacers drivers beginning to pull away. Jesse Stevens trying to keep them in sight.
Ooh, and behind them, Lufer and Hen were going at it. Lufer almost ran Hen off the track. They're going at it hard.
Down into the heel of the boot, as they call it. Right on the rear bumper. That 33 gives a push to the 688.
And starting to get aggressive up here in the front.
And 33 swings out wide, tries to cross over the 688 on corner exit. Of course, Max Lufer competing in the GRIDLIFE Touring Cup with his Ford Taurus, the bright yellow machine. But today he's rocking the teal in that 688. Right behind them, that's Austin Barnes and Kurt Crum. GRIDLIFE and Scars represented in this battle. 11 minutes to go, almost halfway through this one. It's still Hartley out front. DJ Alessandrini, Tom O'Gorman, Ken Halseal, Jesse Stevens, your top 5. Some damage to the nose of that 91 fitting. I think he's been in the back of Hartley. And way behind, look at those 2 duking and diving. That's Lufer and Hen still. Ooh, and Hartley goes defensive at the top of the S's, trying to keep that 91 behind, but they're going to get door to door again. Where does O'Gorman go in this 94?
And I see exactly where he's going to go. Going to go right in behind the 91 Alessandrini. He's going to get a bit of draft as he didn't make a pass. There he goes out.
To the inside, here comes Tom O'Gorman. He won the GRIDLIFE iRacer Stadium Super Truck Series last night. He goes to the top spot here at Watkins Glen. Lufer and Hen running side by side still, as are Kurt Crum and Austin Barnes. Who is battling for that last points-paying position? It's Ryan McPhail and Eric Hutton. The 867 and the 88 following him. This is 25th. This is the last points-paying position back here. So Hutton would get 1 point if he finished here.
The battle between Kurt Crum and Barnes going at it side by side in the boot.
Down into the toe of the boot now on the downhill. Late on the brakes to the 7 to the inside, the 51 on the outside, working their way. This is incredible stuff. I'm just so impressed with how clean everyone's driving and giving each other a space. Defensive line by the 51.
Yep, that was Kurt Crum going defense to the inside on the outside of him. Here comes Barnes now.
Wow!
Whoa.
He outbraked the heck out of him down into that corner, right behind Luke McGrew. Look at this fight here. McGrew and Focacci backing up a whole stack of drivers.
Yeah, and it's a rainbow right behind him, all different leagues duking it out for the final paying spots here.
I think Johnny Thomas has reset Finney in a crash for the 83. And he resets to the pit lane. And behind, I see another fuel driver. That's still Zach Buchanan. He's made up a spot to 19th place. Contact in front. Car goes around. It's a Scars machine.
Oh, it's Focacci.
It's Focacci in the 00. I think he's relatively okay. He'll spin it back around, but ooh, he got loose and got helped around by the GRIDLIFE car that was following him. That was the 18, but no ill intent there. He just got loose.
Yeah, really unfortunate because he was having a hell of a run, but that fight for round 15th is still going on strong.
Alessandrini takes the lead back, but you mentioned that fight for 15th and back. Luke McGrew leads the fight, then it's Mitchell Peak, then Zach Buchanan up to 16th place now. A whole horde of drivers. I see some blue in there. 3 wide up there. That's David Wilson and Cameron Rich.
Yeah, David Wilson, Cameron Rich trying to join Grunberg, who's a little bit further up the pecking order in 13th.
Into the bus stop again. The leader's already through. Alessandrini, Hartley, O'Gorman continuing to swap spots. It's still 4 GRIDLIFE cars at the front, all teal towards the front of the field. Then it's 2 SPEC MX-5 cars, 2 more GRIDLIFE cars, a Scars and another GRIDLIFE, your top 10. At the front, those 3 cars, they've completely broken away. Ken Houseel sits in 4th. No fight there. Let's jump all the way back to 19th place. There's David Wilson in the 28. And that's the 77 of Adam Cabot, one of the ORL drivers, to the inside lane.
Yeah, Cabot doing a great job trying to defend, although he's got 2 guys in behind him, and they're going to be trying to work together to muscle around him. Here comes Wilson now at the toe of the boot.
Wilson to the inside, a slip and a slide on the brakes. He's got that car rotated, climbing the hill again, using the torque of the motor to climb that hill. Kurt Crum, Austin Barnes still fighting. This has been an extremely intense battle. This has got to be a lot of fun. I'm jealous of these cars right now. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
There he goes, the 51 hard into the fence. And I think he thought he was clear and tried to pull over on the 7 and couldn't quite do it. He wasn't quite clear. Interested to see how that'll be viewed by race control there, Finian, looking from above. It was so close for so long, and they just got together. Back up at the front, checking in. I think Will Roberts has also had an issue. But the top 3 continue to be strung out ahead of Ken Houseel. 3 drivers, Alessandrini, Hartley, O'Gorman. Let's jump back to Eric Coutil in the 82. He's crashing in turn 1 with Kurt Crum, and he spins right back into the racing line. Will he miss everybody? He does, gets out of the way.
Yeah, luckily there was quite a bit of a gap to the rest of the field, but it actually looked like Coutil was spinning, entering turn 1.
Yeah, here's a look. What did he... Oh, he clipped the grass on entry, Finian. That's an ugly wreck. And almost had it saved in the 7 of Crum. Got a big hit of damage on that nose.
Yeah, and Crum's going to be hurting on his arrow down the straightaway, even through the engine too. Got a really hard lick there. Actually behind Kurt Crum, great battle, 3 wide entering the bus stop.
Oh, that got a little dicey for a moment. Mark Emerson right in front. Luke McGrew back here. Those 2 have been fighting a lot. Gruenberg in the 22 crossover by McGrew to the inside of the 23 now.
Yeah, and I think Emerson might have a slowdown. He kind of cut the exit here. We'll see if he got it or not. He's still punching the gas. Whoa, almost contact there.
There goes the 18.
Contact.
Oh, that's going to be hard. And big hit for the 18 of McGrew. And you know what? Finian, the GRIDLIFE driver's beginning to drop down the order. The 28 just gets by. The 867. Oh, the 88 didn't miss it. Big crash for those drivers. And that's going to hurt ORL. They're going to miss some points back here. Eric Hutton on his lid, and that's going to make the... Oh. Drivers just trying to miss everything here, Finian, but crash for those drivers as well. Back up at the top.
Yes.
Still the top three, Hartley, O'Gorman, Alessandrini.
Yeah, the pressure mounts even a little bit more for these guys, I think, to probably not battle as much, considering three of their guys. We just saw three of their guys drop out of the order.
There's still a big fight going on back here for around 10th place. It's actually Mark Emerson in 11th that's leading this fight. Matt Gruenberg still in here. Mitchell Peak, Zach Buchanan in the middle of it all in that number 40 for fuel.
A whole different mix, a whole bunch of different cars in this mix. Also, Jeffrey Arroyan in 17th behind, pretty much at the tail end of this pack.
And right now, Buchanan is kind of carrying fuel at the moment. I think he's the only fuel car that I can see inside the top 25. So when it comes to the oval side of things, the fuel guys better be on their stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right on that part, yeah.
Top of the hill, Jesse Stevens in the 36, trying to hold off the, that's the 33 of Chris Henn, actually. That's Ken Hauseal, Chris Henn, and Jesse Stevens. That's 4th through 6th, and whoa, that got dicey. Some pushing and shoving, some blocking. O'Gorman's back to 2nd in front of Alessandrini. 3 minutes and 54 seconds to go, lap 8 of 10.
It was battle for 4th, still heating up. Stevens and Henn being aggressive all over House. He was kind of outnumbered here.
Oh, the 26 deep on the brakes to the inside of the 36. He's going to take the spot back, does Ken Hauseal. And I was just watching the 11th place, actually 13th place battle. There's John D. Allen, one of the drivers that actually created the SPEC MX-5 Sim Racing Challenge League in that 41. Right now sitting in 13th.
Hauseal got a bit of a shove going to the toe of the boot.
Ooh, this is getting more and more aggressive as we continue.
Indeed it is. Here comes Christopher Henn in the 33 with a run on the outside of Hauseal.
Mark Emerson, the lone ORL driver, inside the top 10 right now, but we're continuing to watch Henn and Hauseal. Door contact, some mirrors banging together there.
Yeah, they're still going at it. They're doing each other down the straightaway for a bit. Here they go. Henn's going to go for the move. He gets it, but Hauseal back on him.
This is an incredible fight here for the 4th spot. They're about 5 seconds back from DJ Alessandrini in 3rd, so this is all they're going to do. Oh man, that got dicey there for a second. Stevens looking to make a move here. He's got help from his teammate here. That's the 33 is his teammate. They can work together here.
Yeah, Hartley across the line. 2 laps to go for the leaders.
Oh, it's a SPEC MX-5 sandwich, but the 33 is going to dive behind the 26, maybe try to cross him over on corner exit, down into turn 1 now for the second to last time. Zach Buchanan, John D. Allen running together right now. That's a battle for 12th, and Allen gets it for now.
Yeah, this battle has been ongoing, and these guys have been slowly going up the order as more and more cars have been dropping out of the front few spots, and actually trailing down Kirk Crum, who got damage earlier. He's out to dry pretty much with the damage to his nose.
Tomo back to the top spot in that 94 for GRIDLIFE. Sitting pretty, and you mentioned Kirk Crum sitting in 9th place. A great effort by him. Thomas Bresci also running very well. SPEC MX-5 is also running really well here, Finian. I don't know if they're not going to do quite as well as GRIDLIFE in the points, but they're going to stand a chance if they have some good oval runs.
Yeah, I think that's what they're hoping for. Remember, top 3 in each series are the guys who are going to be scoring points.
Oh,
Everyone
contact.
else...
26 and 36 get together down into the boot, still rubbing on each other. And you mentioned the top 3, Finian. If GRIDLIFE sweeps the podium, that's about as perfect as it can get. Great battle here between Stevens and Hauseal. Friendly competition. These guys know each other and compete with each other all the time. But their cars are getting pretty beat up, and Christopher Henn's following these guys, saying, all right, guys, let's calm down. He's going to give help to the 26, realizes that's not his teammate, pulls over to the left. And down into the heel of the boot they go. The 36 swings out wide.
Boy, up contact there. They made contact yet again. Hauseal almost gets into the back bump to 36. Here comes Christopher Henn now trying to make a pass.
Crossover again. Jeff Arroyan checking back in with him, and Scars all the way back in 15th place. A bit of a conundrum back here. 4 or 5 cars all fighting for a spot. There's the 22. Bloomberg up the inside of Buchanan. That got tight for a moment. For the top spot, though, white flag in the air. Last lap around here at Watkins Glen.
And Gorman leads GRIDLIFE down to the white flag. Top 3 if they finish like this, and that'll be max points for the GRIDLIFE team. How about that?
Yeah, that would be absolutely phenomenal. This would be essentially a perfect race for the GRIDLIFE cars. Anything that happens from there on back, not really necessary. But what does the 26 need to do? Try to keep these SPEC MX-5 cars behind him, and he's struggling to do so. 3 wide out of turn 1, and the 33 is going to dive to the inside and try to take that spot away. He does. Halcyon back to 6th.
Yeah, Osceola gets moved back to 6, I think, and he's got Looper up behind him. So
for the top spot, Hartley and O'Gorman swapping positions. Into the bus stop for the final time.
Yeah, looks like they're going to go with this order for now. We'll see if O'Gorman has anything for Hartley as they try to still fight it to the line. He's trying to get the win.
Keep an eye on that fight for now. Is at the top of the hill. It's that's actually the 17 of Rich and Cabot. That's side by side for 16th place. And for Gruenberg, who's just in front of this, Gruenberg is the highest up running 3-wide driver in the top 15, so he's got to run well. Big swing over by McPhail in the 867. 3 wide into the bus stop.
Yeah, the heat's starting to be turned on here. These guys fighting for the final few points that they can get as they go through the white flag lap.
All right, into the boot for the final time. It's Hartley, O'Gorman, Alessandrini. They don't need to fight with each other, but don't tell Tomo that. He'll try to win anything he can. Meanwhile, behind, car spinning. It's Halcyon. He's all out of shape. He's got damage, I think. Here comes Luke to the inside to take 6th place away. Watching the top 3 now. Oh boy, Finian. Tomo's getting there.
Yeah, he's getting there indeed.
Robert Hartley leads the race, the checkered flag in hand of the starter. Coming on through for the final time. Hartley has dominated this race with O'Gorman and Alessandrini as his wingmen. But for GRIDLIFE, it's going to be a 1, 2, 3. Tomo slammed on the brakes, maybe trying to cross him over to the outside. Oh, big mistake with the 29 slowing down. Are they going to do a 3 wide across the finish? Excellent work,
that's
boys.
what they're doing.
Excellent work.
Yeah.
And across the line.
All the time.
GRIDLIFE sweeps the podium.
Yeah, solid job there. I was actually curious if they're going to do it because they had all the time in the world. Back to Jesse Stevens, who will finish, he'll finish in 5th. Christopher Henn will be the highest finishing driver for a SPEC MX-5 with Jesse Stevens in 5th.
Fights out of the final corner for a lot of leagues. This is getting dicey. That was almost 3-4 wide at the start-finish line. Close quarters there. A 1/10 of a second between 11th and 12th. Still fights going on in midfield, though. And for GRIDLIFE, that was a perfect race. Heading all the way back to 24th, that's Alex Bell for ORL. Angelo Ronis as well. Steve Ficacci in the 00, recovering from his incident. Eli Hinton, haven't seen any of him so far. He's just outside of a points-paying position. Steve Ficacci, he'll be the last points-paying car. I don't even know if it'll count, though, because I think he's got 3 drivers that finished better than him in that race. More close. Ooh, that was really close. Got to go back and quickly take a look at that. Jordan Ashland, Cohen Evans. 53 thousandths of a second between them. That was a great result there. And for everyone, Finian, I say job well done.
Yeah, that was a fantastic race. Obviously, some people are going to get into each other at some point. But, I mean, overall, when you have almost 50 guys on the track, that was, I think, as clean as you can get it there. And some fantastic racing throughout the grid. These guys put on a hell of a show.
Absolutely. So Hartley, Alessandrini, O'Gorman sweeping the points, and you look back through and just... It's just a total array of colors beyond that top 5 or so. So Buchanan, the best running car for fuel, in 13th place. Steve Ficacci in 25th in that 00. And from 25th on back, no points awarded to those drivers. But we're going to get to see them race at Michigan, and that session opens in literally 1 minute. So we're not done just yet. We're going to get to the second half of this race here in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be back in a second.
18 months ago, SYM TV didn't exist. One post on Reddit changed all that. In that 18 months, SYM TV is streamed over 275 times, accumulated 59,000 views, and viewers have watched for 612,951 minutes, 15,340 comments, 2,691 shares. Viewers have watched from the US, Canada, Germany, Spain, France, the United Kingdom, Australia, India, Brazil, and Finland. 800 people have hit the red button to come back and watch weekly and turn SYM TV into a truly global sim racing network. We didn't quite know 18 months ago how far the iRacing League community went, but we know now. So it's time to play our part in bringing this community that built us together for one night of racing. It's time to tear down the walls of familiarity, and time to race with your competitors and not against them. Up to 10 drivers from each league featured on SYM TV will race together at Watkins Glen and at Michigan Speedway in a 2-race dogfight for superiority and bragging rights. Fuel.
And Greg Evans, in a half a lap, will get to experience that for the first time in the Fuel Cup Series.
Outsiders.
But he's going to come through turns 3 and 4, and it's going to be redemption for him here at Kansas.
3-wide racing.
Close out of turn 4 in the wall.
Oh, he gets to the wall! They made contact! Who's going to get that?
SPEC MX-5 Sim Racing Challenge.
He misses his mark in the corner. He's going to have to cut through the grass. Hen takes the lead there.
3 wide for second place.
GRIDLIFE iRacers.
Oh, he lifted. I can't believe he lifted. 30 seconds left in the race. It's going to be white flag this time for him.
And the very first league to ever run on SYM TV, the SYM Championship Racing Series. And tonight, drivers will climb into their rigs for the first annual SYM TV League Showdown. And it all begins now. To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars. Found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that has not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered Land? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
Welcome back live to SYM TV for the second half of the 2019 SYM TV League Showdown. We saw an absolutely spectacular race at Watkins Glen with over 50 cars, and now it's time to have 43 go for it all at Michigan. We took a look at the points, Finian, and of course GRIDLIFE, to no surprise, swept that podium, and they're ahead by a pretty significant margin. But now we turn the tables, and they're going to do something extremely unfamiliar to them. That is oval racing. This is where a lot of people will say that it's easy, you just make left-hand turns. We're about to see those really, really good drivers, the professionals, struggle in just a moment. Or maybe not. We have yet to find out. We're going to see how the points work out here in just a moment. But it's a 35-lap race, administrator cautions only, and I'm really excited for this one. I'm more so excited for this one than I was for the first one. So qualifying begins now, and I think this is going to be super important to be quick and to have a good result here. I think you really need to qualify well to have a good start, and everyone's going to pull out onto the racetrack and try to get their best 2 laps in that they can. There's Brian Chabelsky in the number 12. He's pulling on the racetrack. Adam Cabot in the 77. Jared Jewell in the Scars number 73. He's pulling out of his box as well. Connor Horn in the number 48 for Outsider Racing League. Remember, he qualified in with the Tsukuba Last Chance qualifier. He won the race. He's in. John D. Allen, road driver from SPEC MX-5, pulling onto his racetrack in his number 31. I'm trying to see who else is in here. Eric Coutiel, GLTC GRIDLIFE Touring Cup, and running the number 82 and didn't quite run as well as I thought he would in the Watkins Glen race. We'll see if he's got his oval stuff figured out here.
Yeah, this is really where we expected oval guys to, come alive here. This is our home turf. We saw in the first race, the entire top 10 was filled by the 3 road leagues. So 3 oval leagues, outsiders, 3 wide, and Fuel. This is their time to step it up and show the road guys how it's done in this race.
Single car qualifying for 2 laps. You got 5 minutes to run the quickest lap that you can. Let's take a look at our track map here, Finian. A 2-mile speedway, 4 corners. Not a whole lot of banking here, and the surface is worn out. So what does that mean? It means it's slippery, it's slidey, and this is not an easy combination to drive.
No, it definitely is not an easy combination to drive. Yeah, when we were trying to make the setup for this, it was initially tight, and guys were flying up towards the wall and couldn't really do anything about it. Now they're going to be flying up towards the wall in a different way. They're going to get a little bit loose off the corner, so it's going to take some car control. You can't just float all the way around like you can in the newer cars. These really do take skill to drive.
So you take a look at the order already. We're already halfway through qualifying, and look, much different story this time around. You saw a lot of teal at Watkins Glen, and I only see 3 in the top 15. Ryan Carwile, probably their oval ringer, sitting 7th right now, but look at ORL at the top of the board. Butler, Cabot, Wilson in the 28, sitting 4th. Now it's 3 ORL cars sweeping the top of the board.
Yeah, we're going to have only 42 to 43. Unfortunately, Will Roberts couldn't make it to the grid, so we're going to be 1 short here. But I mean, 42 cars is nothing to slack at. That's actually more than a modern NASCAR field.
Yeah, I think we got plenty. I don't think car count is our problem tonight, Finian. Nor is viewer count. We want to thank everybody for coming on board and watching tonight. It's been a pleasure to work for you and with you for the last 18 months, and this is really just our way to give back a little bit to everyone that's been a part of the SYM TV process and getting us to GRIDLIFE. And we're going to Road Atlanta here in the next couple weeks, and we're really excited about getting to do that. So DJ Alessandrini qualified 19th at the moment, but look who topped the board by over a 10th, Matt Gruenberg in the 3-wide 54.
Yeah, and so looking at the grid, this is pretty much how I expected, except for a few names. How about Christopher Hen in the 7th on the grid?
Well, this is dangerous, because if you took a look at the points, is it 11 points back from GRIDLIFE to SPEC MX-5?
I think so.
It's not a huge number. And if you take a look at Christopher Hand, right where he is, he's in a good spot where he can actually beat GRIDLIFE just by doing better than everyone else in the field. So it's going to be very tricky for GRIDLIFE to have a good result here when there's so many good oval racers in here. The problem is I don't think Ken has a lot of help in the SPEC MX-5 Challenge Series for the oval side of things. So we'll see if he can single-handedly take down GRIDLIFE. Steve Ficacci had kind of a rough race at Watkins Glen, looking to turn things around. Qualified 16th right now. Mitch Welker in the 76 for Fuel. There was some Fuel representation inside the top 15 a moment ago, but Zach Buchanan is the only one left inside the top 15. Welker down in 21st, as qualifying is almost complete. Connor Horn in the 48. He's making a qualifying effort. This should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and qualifying coming to a close here, so waiting for the last few guys to put down a time. And here comes Connor Horn across the stripe. Jumps up to 2nd. How about that?
Yeah, that's no surprise there.
Yeah, Connor Horn didn't make a whole lot of noise. Finished, I think, 20th or 19th around there in the road race. But here he is carrying the banner for Outsiders after just making it in the open. And out of the final turn for Mark Emerson. He'll barely get to the line in time. And where is he going to jump up in the order?
Oh, that was close. Wow.
6th.
Look at all the gold atop the ticker now, and a lot of blue here as well. Now, 3-wide's pretty far down in the standings, and Outsiders has some work to do as well. So we flipped the script. The GRIDLIFE guys swept at Watkins Glen. Can Outsiders or 3-wide flip the script and win here at Michigan Speedway? Of course, my name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finny DeCuna, and we are SYM TV, giving back after 18 months of just receiving nothing but endless support from all the multiple leagues we've worked with, and this is just 6 of the ones that we've worked with tonight represented here. About 5 drivers or more for each. And you can see everyone taking the grid down on the racetrack now. Finney, and predictions for this one. Do you think ORL or 3-wide is in the best position to sweep this?
I think it honestly can kind of go hand in hand. I mean, actually, if you can try to look at Zach Buchanan from the TV1 camera, and you can kind of see the distribution of all the leagues. You see the gold and the blue up in the front, some orange and white sprinkled here and there, and a lot of red and green in the back of the pack.
I don't see a whole lot of white, though. So that's going to be interesting. I do see a couple white cars towards the rear. I know Chris Henn is up to near the front in his machine. Everyone double checking to make sure that they're set up to go racing. And a lot of teal towards the rear here, Finney, and I don't think that's a huge surprise, but maybe those drivers will surprise us in the longer runs this evening. All right, let's take a look at our track conditions. The sun is setting, so the track is only going to get better, but right now it's 78 on the track, 79 in the air, partly cloudy skies, and a track state hovering around 60 to 70%. That means it's going to be grippy in the middle of the corner, but loose on exit. As we take a look at the backstretch, you see where that wall pulls away. That's where the banking drops out. You can actually see from the middle of the screen to the bottom of the screen how that banking drops away. The car will actually get light there, and you're going to slip up and hit that wall if you're not too careful. So waiting for the last couple of drivers to grid, waiting on Mitchell Peak from SPEC MX-5. There he goes, and it's time to do the one pace lap before we go racing again. Admin cautions only, 42 cars on the starting lineup. Here it is, rolling across the bottom of your screen. Grunberg and Horn on that front row.
Yeah, Andy, and also I just want to point this out really quick before we go green. This is probably one of the first time I've seen every single car on the grid, especially with this many cars, put down a qualifying time, and that too, very competitive qualifying times.
Field rolling off now. You got to look way back to find all the GRIDLIFE guys that just swept at Watkins Glen. Tom O'Gorman, I'm going to call him out. Not racing this. I guess he's scared of the Circle Ferries, Finian. Yes, he's afraid. He's going to turn over control of GRIDLIFE machines to Alessandrini, Coutil, and others. And we'll see how this goes. Robert Hartley in the 4. He's farther up the grid, and this is something that he hasn't done before, Finian. He's actually qualified quite well.
Yeah, again, quite a few surprises when you look through the grid, when you look down the order, some guys sprinkled in where you wouldn't really expect them to be, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play up with some of the big dogs, some of the best oval races we've seen on iRacing on SYM TV. They're going to definitely give these guys a run for money, and this is, again, their time to shine in the points.
Looking from high above, that's over 20 rows of stock cars. 950 horsepower in these cars. That's like 6 times more than we just had in the Miatas. This is a totally different car, a totally different style of racing. Minute differences is what makes the big differences here on the racetrack. So the little details are what make you fast. And who's got the best little details? There is a pair of GRIDLIFE cars lurking in the back. Can they defend their Watkins Glen title and determine GRIDLIFE as the best league of them all on SYM TV? Pace car pulls off. Here we go, 35 laps. And we're going racing. Green flag in the air for the 2019 SYM TV League Showdown at Michigan.
Yeah, Matt Grunberg will lead them on down. Connor Horn's going to come across, trying to take second place away. It's 3 golden cars, 3 wide into turn 1.
And we're 3 wide mid-pack here as well. There's 4 wide here in the middle of the field. That's the 4 car partly up the middle. And this is going to get really dicey on the exit of the corner.
Big wreck off of 2.
No, that the 13 car's going to spin right back into the middle of the pack. Do we all miss it? Oh, that's a big one. And there's the caution. And that started, I think, with the 13 machine of Eli Hinton. And we do have 1 fast repair available, so these drivers will get an opportunity to try again. But what happened here to the 13 of Hinton, where it all started? Oh, it was the 16 car that got turned around with him. Then he spun right back into the field, and everybody trying to dodge it. And really, outsiders kind of, they screwed up there, Finian, for lack, I mean, that really was all their fault.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of the unfortunate thing to see teammates taking each other out and after only 2 turns. You're supposed to be working together. I mean, obviously that wasn't on purpose, but, you got to be careful there.
And already this is going to be a huge hit to ORL's chances, because look at 3 wide. They're populating 4 of the top 10 spots. So is ORL. Actually, they're still holding 5 spots, but some of their better drivers just involved in that wreck. And that's not what you want to do. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot this early in the race. So everyone's going to calm back down, try this again, and good on the admins, a well-thrown caution there in order to preserve the peace out there. Pretty difficult for everyone to miss that. So what do you do here, Finian? Lap 1, I don't think you're going to bother pitting, huh?
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of guys in the back there are going to kind of have to take their 1 fast repair. We did give everyone 1 fast repair in a case like this, so everyone can continue on. Whoa, I see a 12 car spun on the apron, or spun on the grass at turn 3.
That's Brian Shabelski, and there was actually a note in the driver's meeting about not making contact under yellow, and I wonder if this was...
It was an accident. I just looked at it.
Let's see, here it is, yep. Oh, just kind of lost focus there for a second, spun out. Alright, so we do have some cars on pit lane, mostly receiving their fast repairs. And I see the 51 of Austin Barnes at the rear here as well. Actually, he's just getting tires. Eric Coutil also getting tires. John D. Allen is on pit lane as well in his SPEC MX-5 colored 31. So let's try this again. You know what that reminded me of, Finian, a lot is the 2006 or 5 Talladega race with Brian Vickers and Jimmy Johnson. The teammates taking each other out at the front of the field. All right, so crash here early at Michigan. Again, cautions are admin thrown, and that was really a necessary one with a 13 kind of right in the middle of the racetrack. So already kind of chaotic, but still 4 gold machines at the front with the blue machine of Matt Grunberg. And Grunberg has really been doing a nice job tonight. Ran very well at Watkins Glen and is already pulling 3 wide in the oval event.
Yeah, and good to see, though, pretty much everyone getting their fast forward, getting back on the track. That was, for the most part, the whole point of it, to give these guys a fighting chance. You know, obviously these wrecks are going to happen, and you didn't want to immediately take out a bunch of guys on the first lap, so hopefully everyone can get back on their feet and continue on. But yeah, it's going to be a big blow to outsiders nonetheless. All the drivers that start up in the front, a lot of them are going to be in the back now.
Yeah, and we got to be careful again. We're trying to get this race as green as possible, so there will not be cautions thrown for single car incidents, nor only 2 or 3 car incidents. So really the goal is only to throw yellows if absolutely necessary. That was absolutely necessary, I would argue, and we're going to double up and try again. And how about the 17 of Cameron Rich as well, running for 3 wide, and he's been phenomenal in pretty much everything he's run in. Ran decently at Watkins Glen and now has an opportunity to help out the 3 wide guys here at the oval side of things. But it's just so interesting how segregated it really is at the front of the field between 3 wide and ORL. But look who's lurking. Kurt Crum is a really good all-arounder, sitting in 14th right now for Scars.
Yeah, I think he's hoping to slowly claw his way up the order. These cautions like this are going to help him out. I mean, obviously, hopefully you don't get more than a few here in this event, because the event already short as it is, only 35 laps. So once you get the restart, it's going to be, by count, 31 laps to go.
Yeah, it's only going to be about 20 minutes if they were to go green to the end. So that's the same length as the Watkins Glen race was. That was intentional, and the idea is not to be pacing here forever. So hopefully we'll get this clean and green. And restart procedures for this event: you may not change lanes before you get to that start-finish line, and there will be administrators watching and policing that. The first catch is a warning, the second time is a stop and go. So be careful not to mess up the restarts here. Field rolls out at turn 4. Pace car is going to pull off. Well, we're going to be on lap number 5 after not really running any under green. Let's try again. A lot of blue and gold at the front of the field.
Yep, and Groomer will get hit control of the field once again. Green flag in the air, and off away they go.
Back under power again, this time a bit more orderly. Everyone behaving for the most part. There was a little 3 wide towards the rear of the field. I think it was one of the ORL drivers. We're 4 wide back here. That's Coutil in the middle of it. But I think everyone's made it through okay that time. Off of turn 2.
Yep, and we're good for now as we got 3 ORL drivers, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, all trying to chase down Matt Grunberg.
Much better start that time through. Still ORL, they got to be careful not to shoot themselves in their foot like they did early, and they're bobbling out of turn 2 or 4. That's Mark Emerson with the gold number on the side of his car, duking and diving on the front straight. Lap 5 complete.
Zelensky and Kavik going at it. They almost made contact there as they were duking and diving on the front straightaway.
Down into turn 1 now, everyone making it through for the second time relatively okay, getting the field stretched out. Oh, another ORL car loose out of turn 2. It's Zelensky spins.
He's going to spin to the inside. We're still going to remain green, but a lot of guys checking up.
And a dangerous moment, another ORL car in the wall. This is all going downhill very quickly. That's Ronis up in the fence in the 29.
Oh, but a big pack in the middle of the field. Ryan Carlisle in the GRIDLIFE machine. He's going all over the place trying to make up some spots now.
Wow, there's just cars everywhere. It's hard to get a camera on them all. Look at this down into turn 1. 2, 3, and 4 wide for a second here. There's the 40 of Zach Buchanan for fuel, the highest running fuel car. He gets backed up. Here comes the 44 of Hensley to the inside. No, they crash! The 44 spins off the, oh, there goes Buchanan too. And both fuel cars, huge impact into the barriers. That'll probably be the, I mean, they might have a fast repair, but no caution. Will stay green, but it's still Gruenberg out front. And look at Carwile in that 71 for GRIDLIFE. He could save their championship chances here.
Yeah, I think that's what he's pretty much trying to do. Whoa.
Cabot loose on entry. 3 wide, he's going to lose a bunch of spots.
Yeah, he hit the wall. I see a lot of guys hitting on entry. Whoa, another car going sideways off the turn. Kurt Crum got knocked sideways by the 83 of Johnny Thomas. He's going to keep it straight. Great save.
Okay, I think we're doing all right now. We're 8 laps complete of 35. And battles everywhere. Thomas Bresci in the 24. Didn't see a whole lot of him in the MX-5 race, or the Watkins Glen race. Running 16th now. There's Mitch Welker, the lone fuel car, still left in the fight in 15th. .950 horsepower. This is just awesome to watch.
Yeah, great stuff right here. There's a small battle between Sam Close and Mark Emerson for 4th place. That battle's subsided for now.
And behind, there's Adam Cabot trailing a big fight. That's Bailey Turner, Ryan Carwile, Christopher Henn in the 33 for SPEC MX-5. A great one so far for that machine.
Yeah, these guys making a great showing for their leagues, and they're holding up Bailey Turner, who's trying to muscle his way around.
A lot of blue and gold at the front of the field, but they're spreading those points over a bunch, or over 2 or 3 leagues, Finney, and GRIDLIFE swept the podium. Adam Cabot running in 11th after his mistake. Kurt Crum, and there's Mitch Welker sitting in 15th right now on the outside of Bresci, trying to chase down Justin Kolb in the 52. .207 miles an hour off into turn 3 for the 76. Caution.
Ooh, big wreck on the back straightaway.
Austin Barnes in the 51 involved for GRIDLIFE. And what else was involved here? That's the 35. Ooh.
73 of Jared Jewell, he got a really good piece of it.
Oh, yeah, that was a big hit. And that was, I think, more thrown to protect the leaders that were coming around soon with that disabled 51. So caution out for the 2nd time. Let's go back and take another look at it. And yeah, Barnes just got loose, corrected into the fence. And the 73, yeah, just a big hit for Jewell. So caution out. Had a couple good laps strung together there for a moment, Finian, but what about pit stops?
I don't know about pit stops, but they're... Oh, okay, never mind. I just saw that a black flag was awarded to Mark Emerson. I wasn't sure why, and I think that was an accidental one. They cleared it.
Okay, well that's good to know. I don't think Emerson was even close to the incident there.
Yeah, but talking about pit stops, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see probably quite a few guys come down. You know, just might as well get some tires here. Probably not some guys towards the front, although we have to see here. We might see a big shake up in the order.
Here we go, and Zach Buchanan gonna stay out. Interesting. Or actually, that's not Buchanan. That's Mitch Welker, right?
No, that is Buchanan, but he's going to take a wave around because he got put a lap down after getting back on the track. Actually, he's 2 laps down. Yeah,
it's his fast repair. So he's getting himself back in, and you see everyone down on pit lane. Going to be a big shake-up here, potentially, in the pit stops. And again, this is something for the road guys they haven't done a whole lot of. I'm curious to see how they'll do on this sequence.
Actually, speaking of the road guys, quite a few GRIDLIFE cars staying out.
Really? Oh, yes. Luke for McGrew, Alessandrini, Coutil, John D. Allen. He's running for MX-5, but a big shakeup. And I don't know if is this inexperience or is this good strategy?
I think it, you know, might be a little bit of both. I think they might be a little bit overconfident in how this is going to play out. I mean, you know, obviously it could completely work out in their favor. It's kind of hard to tell the tire wear. I haven't seen these cars be on the track in years, so it's kind of tough to tell how the tires are going to wear on these things. But I think a little bit of a strategy, these guys trying to get themselves in a good spot. I think they figured this is one of their only shots to get some really good track position here. And who knows, if they get another yellow, this could be very beneficial.
Absolutely, and I don't know, Finian, I mean, if this goes wrong for GRIDLIFE, they could single-handedly lose the championship right here if they crash. Well, they have an 11-point lead over everyone in the championship. If they crash, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, if they don't score any points, they're going to be just under attack by ORL and 3 Wide, and even SPEC MX-5 as well. They have 2 cars inside the top 15 at the moment to earn points. So the 40, I have instructed, hopefully they see this message, but I have instructed to give the 40 the laps back. I think we should just keep everybody in the race, don't you think, Finian?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we'll keep everybody in the race the best we can. So Buchanan will get his laps back, and Lupfer is going to lead. He's got some right front damage on that car. I wonder if that's going to... It doesn't seem like it's too bad, but I think that a couple lap old tires are going to be the biggest issue. Alright, so we had about a... What was that, a 7 or 8 lap run there, and that was a pretty good run and a pretty decent restart. We've only lost a couple drivers so far. Actually, the only driver that's currently scored off track is Austin Barnes in the 51. Everyone else is back on, but laps down. 37 cars on the lead lap, though.
Yeah, anything that's great feat so far. Again, though, as the laps are going to tick on, I think we'll see a few more guys start to drop out just due to single car incidents and stuff like that. Just falling out of the pecking order, especially the guys who already used up their fast repair.
Rolling through turns 3 and 4 to double file again. We should be coming to 1 to green this time through. And it's going to be 2 rows of GRIDLIFE cars, and there's Buchanan going back around. And I've just instructed them to give everybody that they can laps back, just because I think it's worth it. I don't think the point is to punish people for crashing. I think the point's to have a good race, and if more cars helps that, we'll do it. So 13 laps complete as we come across the start lap 14. The lights shut off on the Ford FR500 pace car, and double file up. Is this a mistake for the GRIDLIFE cars, or will this win them the championship? We're about to find out.
Yeah, it's going to be a key decision here for all these guys. And this is kind of what I love about this, too, is that you clearly see this is a team decision. And obviously, people at home can't see our Discord, but everyone in their own Discord is working together. So it's really nice to see a team effort from all these guys making decisions, trying to get their cars up in the front in a winning position. So, yeah, we'll definitely see this is a winning move here by the 5 guys up in the front.
I can't see this really working out, but it's worth a try. I mean, if you get a quick yellow here within 3 or 4 laps, and really, as long as they don't fall all the way back to 20th or worse, for most of them, this is a big improvement. So if they can just hold their spots a little bit, they'll be in good shape. So the teal-colored GRIDLIFE machines, they swept the podium with O'Gorman, Hartley, and Alessandrini at Watkins Glen. What if they were to sweep the podium at both races, Finney, and just wash everybody out? That would be a spectacular achievement.
Yeah, that would be a spectacular achievement. They'll win it by a landslide by getting max points. That would be a hell of a victory for them. But we'll see here. It's all going to lie on this restart, this move here. Will they drop back like rocks, or will they stay up here?
Well, you better hope they got car control, because they're going to need it on those older tires. Going to be restarting lap number 15, 21 laps to go, and a takeoff immediately by the 688 of Lupfer, trying to get everything they can. Ooh, I think that was a messy start there by the 31 of John D. Allen, and I think Hutton was that. Yes, he popped out of line, and we'll see if they rule him on that. Down, 4 wide for a moment. Oh, this is going to get really dicey.
This is going to get really dicey as they head up into the turn. Groomer going to cut the Connor horn off by a nose. Almost gets into him. Speaking, getting into contact between the GRIDLIFE cars.
This is going to get messy here on the back straightaway. Everyone just scrambling to try to find positions.
And somehow everyone, for the most part, makes it through there alive.
Are we even out of the woods yet? I don't even know. Oh, that's Luke McGrew up in the fence in the 30. And that was a mistake, I think, Finney. And Luke for the only one hanging on at the front, but not for long. Here comes Gruenberg back to the top spot.
Yeah, he benefited by jumping the start, but now they've finally caught up to him on those fresher tires. So you see Gruenberg, Connor Horn, and also Cameron Rich joining the battle.
Oh, a slide up the racetrack for the 688. A crossover by Connor Horn back to the bottom out of turn 2. Look at this, 3 wide all over the racetrack. Just everywhere. 3 wide everywhere.
Yeah, everyone dogging for positions. You got to be careful here. Don't want to bring out the wreck.
Oh, man. Look at this. There's a whole slew of outsiders cars. Looks like a group of honeybees here. About 24th, 23rd position.
Yeah, and I'm sure none of them want to be there.
I hear an accident behind, and there's a caution. And that's a big one. Several cars involved. And the 31 of John D. Allen involved as well. After a horrendous restart for him. We had that rolling for a little while there, but again, the accident. Oh, this was off the bumper of, I think it was the 73 of Jewel. In a 4-car wreck up there at the top of turn 4. The 30 was slipping up the racetrack slow in front of the 73 and just wadded them all up.
Yeah, nowhere for a lot of those guys to go that got involved, but yeah, a lot of red and a lot of green and taken out.
Yeah, and a lot of white too. 2 of the SPEC MX-5 cars, they only had 5 entries in this, so that's going to hurt them big time. So our third caution of the night. And Grunberg's taking the lead away, but how about Lupfer, though, in the 688, only dropped to 4, so that strategy worked out for him. Coutil back to 9th, so for some of those GRIDLIFE cars, it worked out. For the 30, it did not. All right, I'm looking at this now, Finney, and this is a lot more mixed up than it was before. 3 wide Outsiders and GRIDLIFE all intermixed, and it's only those 3 leagues all the way back to Chris Henn back in 11, so the top 10, only 3 wide Outsider and GRIDLIFE cars. Alright, so third caution of the night. Again, trying to keep it as green as possible, but when there's big wrecks like that, you gotta throw it just for the safety of the trailing cars. DJ Alessandrini in 14th place in the 91, and he's got some big right side damage on that, but ORL starting to recover, but they still have a lot of their cars still very deep in the field. I'm looking right now at Butler, Ashland, Ronis, Hinton.
Ooh,
yes.
Change in strategy. A lot of the ORL cars coming into pit road.
And we're starting to get into that kind of that seesaw pitting, not pitting thing. And I'm just hoping these guys, yeah, look at that. It does look like a swarm of honeybees, doesn't it? And there's a big mix there. I see some Scars cars back there, a couple fuel machines, and a couple, about 3 wide race cars as well.
Yeah, so I'm curious, is this gonna be is this strategy gonna pay off for a lot of these guys? Remember, we've actually seen quite a few wrecks more towards the back part of the field, and especially when you're trying to cut through a lot of this traffic here, you can find yourself getting caught up in a wreck. So it's, you know, win some, you lose some in this scenario. We'll see if this pays off because we're starting to wind down on the laps.
Yeah, 17 laps to go, so that's essentially the halfway point in this race. And so far, it does seem like 3 wide and ORL have a stranglehold on the field, but the strategy by GRIDLIFE is really what's intriguing me, because they actually have gained a bunch of track position doing this. Now, that being said, we have seen some switcheroos here, and actually Welker going to pop out in 8th place here. And we got a car getting the wave around right now, and that is Alex Bell in the 15, who should have gotten the wave because the 2 cars that were 1 lap down were actually involved in the wreck, so that is what that is all about. So he should be getting the 1 to green this time by, and it's going to be a 3 wide front row.
Yeah, it's actually good for Alex Bell too, because he actually was only a few laps down because he lost interconnection earlier on. Joined back in the session, was trying to soldier on through, so he'll finally be back on the lead lap with everyone else. He's got a lot of work to get through the field though, but I mean, I'm sure he's happy to at least have some fighting chance.
That will be actually 2 to go in the yellow, so we're going to go restart with 14 to go. And again, as many people as possible, trying to get them back in the lead lap. McGrew, Newton, Hensley, John D. Allen, all laps down. But I think we have 3, actually make that 4 retirements. Chabelsky, Hensley, John D. Allen, Austin, Barnes. All the other cars still running in the race.
Alright, so we saw quite a bit of different stuff here up in the front. Lupfer, who did, I'm actually surprised, did he come in last time through?
Which driver are you talking about? Sorry, I was...
Lupfer?
Lupfer did not pit last time through. He actually was one of the GRIDLIFE cars that stayed out, and he actually managed to hang on to his spots for those couple laps we were green.
I'm kind of surprised that he did stay out. I honestly thought he would have decided just might as well come down and get some tires Especially considering a lot of the guys that he was around too came into the pits as well, so he wouldn't really have lost that many spots. So a bit surprised of a move from Looper. We'll see if he can still hang on. Again, has some older tires than the guys around him. Has quite a bit older tires than the guys all the way in the back that just got new ones.
Matt Grunberg has been, I would say, the dominant car so far, Finian. I mean, is he the car to beat here?
Honestly, I think he might be. He's looking really strong up there, and I've noticed quite a few blue cars now up in the front of the field.
Yeah, so 4 of our top 5 are 3-wide Racing League drivers. And, of course, the order reshuffling here as we get everyone doubled up. Mitch Welker in that 76 trying to carry fuel after an early incident with Buchanan and the 44 of Hensley. So Welker trying to stay inside that top 10 and get as many points as he can for the orange group. And then Kurt Crumback here in the 7 for Scars has had a phenomenal day. Ran really well at Watkins Glen, ran really well so far tonight, but doesn't have a whole lot of help from his Scars Ferrari Challenge friends.
And speaking of friends, look back from Connor Horn, Eric Hutton, you see a whole bunch of yellow cars. This is what I love about this, especially the way we do the paint schemes and everyone. You can tell everyone who's working together and everyone being on the same page. This is really cool. This is kind of a team racing thing you don't really get to see a whole lot in motorsports. Or motorsports, for the most part, is pretty much by yourself. Well, but you know, I'm loving the approach here by guys.
I think Darrell Waltrip would call this co-opetition. I mean, you're working with guys that you normally race against, and that's what's so fun about this for me is that, you know, 95% of the time you're racing people in your own league, you're racing against them unless they're your teammate. But today, everyone's your teammate from your league, and now you're competing against other leagues on the channel. And again, 43 drivers entered in this race. We still have about 40 of them running the last 15 laps. Here we go. 3 wide's got the stranglehold, but GRIDLIFE staying in strong. Green flag back in the air and a good run by Grunberg.
Not so good of a run by Looper. He almost gets up into one of the 3-wide cars, but across the line they go, and 3-wide, 1, 2, 3, and 4 into turn 1.
Oh, look at Welker up the middle. The GRIDLIFE car's kind of splitting up the party. A slip by the 00 Focacci. Side by side off the 22, and this is going to get dicey on the back straightaway like it has so far. The Scars car's in the wall. That's Focacci. Everyone duking and diving to try to miss it.
Oh, big battle, though, with Bressie and Hen now going at it for, I think that is 7th spot.
14 laps ago, going to make it 13 here when we get back to the start-finish line. Everyone just trying to find position on the racetrack. There's not a lot of room with a field this big.
Oh, man, midfield is a huge swarm of cars trying to move through the grid.
Wow. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Oh, there was some pushing and shoving going on the 52. Kolb got in the back of the 23. Off of turn 2, battle for the lead. It's 3 wide cars, the top 4 spots.
Yeah, they're trying to move, and they're in a bit of a hurry. They're boxing in that 52 there. He's trying to make a move. Hutton keeping him in, but in tight.
Side by side, still 3 wide for the majority of the field. Oh, there's going to be a spin here. The 688 gets sideways. Does he save it? Oh, he's going to crash. How big is it? Is it worth? Oh, there's the yellow. Darn. Couple cars spinning. Thought we could get through that one without a big incident. But another spin for the 688. And was kind of hit from behind here. Or actually off the door. That was the 22 of Emerson, I believe?
Yeah, they were both kind of closing in on the same piece of real estate on the track.
Everyone trying to miss
Emerson had the run. Yeah, Emerson had the run by the time he came there. I don't think Looper realized he was goes inside.
And here's a look from onboard Hensley's machine. And this caution, again, we don't like throwing the yellows, but you had to. I mean, look at what everyone had to do to miss this. On the brakes, diving it. And the 44 got tagged and spun around, but pretty minimal damage other than the 688. I think we're mostly okay.
All right, and to ensure a clean run to the end here, or try to ensure a clean run to the end here, I instructed the admins we're going to take this single file on the restarts here just to keep it a little bit less chaotic.
All right, so 12 laps to go, make it 11. We're going to have under 10 by the time we get the green again, and that's going to up the intensity. But in terms of points, Finney, and I'm really curious, if 3 wide sweeps the podium, then it's the battle from, you know, that it's really whoever finished better from there on back between last race and this race. So I really don't know, because again, if 3 wide sweeps the podium, they'd be on equal ground with GRIDLIFE from Watkins Glen, and it's everyone else. This is why, I mean, they're gonna. This is when it gets tricky.
Yeah, this really gets tricky.
Can they conceivably tie?
Honestly, what's that?
Could they conceivably tie? Yes, right? Because that would be the same amount of max points.
It depends where the rest of the GRIDLIFE guys finish, I think.
Well, because they only score the top 3, so we'd have to go back to the next best driver as the tiebreaker. I didn't really expect that we'd have league sweeping podiums. Maybe that won't happen, but ooh, the tiebreaker is going to be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it might be that way. All right. How about Ken Houseel also? I haven't talked a whole lot about him tonight, other than the battle he was having around 5th spot at Watkins Glen, sitting 10th right now. And it's just very short bursts of absolutely mental racing. I mean, it's crazy out there when you're running 3-4 wide and you're 20 rows deep at an oval this size with cars this fast. 950 horsepower, it's a lot to ask of anybody. But we're going to try this again here in just a moment. We're going to have, what, 8 laps to go? 7 laps to go?
Yeah, it's going to be a very short run to the end here. I think a lot of guys are pretty much realize they're getting to the end of this. Not a lot of takers on pit road except guys in the back.
All right. So, going to be less than 10 to go. And we've got Grunberg, Rich, Samuel Close up inside the top 5. And again, the 3 wide guys, I would say walking into this race, I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect them to be this good. But running the top 4 spots, they're really showing their prowess at the circle stuff today. Mitch Welker running 6th right now.
Yeah, really curious on how this restart's going to end up here. A lot of guys in mixed places.
All right, so Mark Emerson back in the 12th spot. He's got Eric Hutton up here. ORL running 11th, 12th, 13th. Finney and Horn actually in 9th. So they actually have a pretty good group of race cars. They just got to get up a couple spots, get some track position these last 10 laps. Doubling back up. So I believe single file restart will come into effect the next caution.
Yeah, I actually, so from the story is, a lot of the guys in the race weren't really happy about it.
You switched it back? I was hoping that you wouldn't, but okay, we'll work with it.
Yeah, all right. Oh, it's up to these guys now.
Finian's a pushover, that's all. That's all I have to say. Well, if they keep crashing, that's on them at that point.
Yeah, honestly, that's my thing. So it's up on them. It's up on their hands now. But I am curious how this fight. So we got 4 3-wide guys up in the front. You don't have to look too far back to see a pool. Of outside of this guys.
The honeybees.
Way to the front.
The honeybees have slowly started to make their way towards the front. You can see how much more they're occupying the middle of the field. In the last restart, they were farther at the rear. So they are slowly climbing their way forward, and that's a big group of cars.
And still with fresher rubber, albeit not that as much anymore, but still fresher rubber than the guys up in the front. So this should be interesting here in these last few laps.
All right, let's try this again. It's going to be 8 laps to go. It's only 5 minutes of racing. We'll see if we can get there without an incident. It's going to be a tall task. 3 wide's got the first 2 rows covered. Then it's Ryan Carwile from GRIDLIFE, Mitch Welker from Fuel, Christopher Henn, Thomas Bresci from SPEC MX-5, a great run by those cars. Then ORL, GRIDLIFE, some more ORL, and then a whole lot of ORL out of turn 4. Grunberg's in control of the outside lane, and we're restarting.
There we go, green flag back in the air, side by side. They go 3-wide with a great start. How about Carl? What is he going to do?
Oh, Everyone making moves. As soon as they cross that line, they're fanning out down to turn 1 to Kuger and Bailey Turner close quarters down in here.
Oh boy, almost saw Connor Horn get into the side of Christopher Henn. He's trying to move up some spots aggressively in that 48.
Some cars sparking off the wall in the back straightaway. I think we're okay out of turn 2. Oh, to try 3, maybe 4 wide again in turn 3. This has got dicey the last couple times. That's the 52 in the middle. That's Justin Kolb. He's going to be in a sandwich.
Oh boy, here they go. Almost 4 wide again. 3 wide on the straightaway. Guys pinching.
We are 4 wide. Now we're back to 2. Gruenberg out up front. Cameron Rich in second. Ryan Carwile up to 4th for GRIDLIFE. He could single-handedly save their championship chances.
I think all the laurels rest on them. It's unknown what the points are right now, but here comes Eric Hutton to the inside of Christopher Henn and Bailey Turner. Bailey Turner. Thomas Bressie on the outside.
Oh, that's going to get really tight, too tight. 3 wide through turn 3 and 4.
Oh man, the SPEC MX-5 guys keeping their hopes alive as well.
7 laps to go. Make it 6 as they cross the line.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Guys throwing blocks. Here comes Connor Horn passing his first 3-wide car in the front. He's getting around Johnny Thomas.
Oh, he's going to use him up a little bit on corner exit. That's Mitch Welker. Actually, yes, that is Mitch Welker following from behind, trying to score some points for fuel. Bressie running right behind him as well in the 24. Gruenberg is pulling away. Rich closed. They got the podium covered right now for 3 wide.
And they coming back to the line. The gap between outsiders and 3 wide is 4 points in outsiders' favor.
This is really close stuff. 5 laps to go. Outsiders all together back here mid-pack. There's Eric Coutil in the 82 for GRIDLIFE, all the way back in 20th place behind a swarm of honeybees.
Oh man, Connor Horn caught up to Ryan Carwell. He's trying to make his pass up for 4th place now. Where are the rest of them?
Horn climbing the ladder to get to the top of the ticker, to the inside of the 71 down in turn 3. Gonna be 4 laps to go this time through. We have 2 green-white checkers on hand if we need them, and we might need them. Look at this fight with Coutil in the middle of it in the 82.
Oh, Connor Horn dead sideways off of turn 4 to stave it, but here comes Carwell back on the outside.
Big fight. GRIDLIFE being carried by that 71 in the outside lane. Welker using up Johnny Thomas in for 6, and he's going to get the job done. Thomas tries to cross him over on the exit of turn 2.
And Eric Hutton dogging them in behind. Meanwhile, Mark Emerson and Bressie going at it out of turn 2.
Everyone starting to get strung out just enough. Oh, there's a car loose up the road. No, big spin by the 24. Hard in the fence in turn 3. Back down in the middle of the racetrack. Will we get a yellow? Yes, we will. And more cars torn up in this one. The Cougar.
Oh, still crashing.
The Cougar torn up. Hartley, that's a big impact. That's probably a race over for the 4. And we will get a green, white, checkered. Here's a look. Yeah, the 24 was on the outside of, I believe, Mark Emerson in the 22. Yeah, Emerson just drove in there. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that one, Finian?
I don't know.
To me, that's on the 22. I gotta say, he dove in there pretty deep, got on the quarter panel, turned him around. That's on Emerson for me. And what a shame for Thomas Bressie. He was having a really good run. And the 22 dives off into the corner, just doesn't have the grip to turn down to stay off the 24. And Bressie tried to keep it locked up and couldn't quite get missed before Hartley got into him and scattered the field.
And no one coming into pit road, and at least in the front few spots.
Well, this kind of changed the name of the game here, because this is going to give ORL another chance to advance some more spots here. And again, you keep an eye on the top of that ticker and ignore the lap counter. You're going by the flags because the GWCs are about to happen, and this is a new thing for the road drivers. So they don't necessarily know how to do this, or they haven't done it before, but it's an outline. It's been explained to them how this process works. So essentially, it will work like this. The race control is going to keep adding a lap to make sure that there's always 2 laps to go under the yellow flag sequence. Once they decide to go back green, they will restart with 2 laps to go. If the caution comes out before they get back around to the white flag, the race will go back under caution and we'll try again. If the leader gets to the white flag before the caution comes out again, they can go all the way around and collect that checkered flag. The racetrack will stay green. I don't think it's too tall of a task to get around 1 lap to get to that white flag, Finian. What do you think?
I don't think so either. These guys have actually done pretty well on the restarts. You know, obviously guys are just going to get into each other here and there, especially once it comes down to the nitty-gritty. But I think they're going to be able to. But I imagine those 3 wide guys are going to be cutthroat. They want to protect this 1, 2, 3. This is their one shot at trying to overtake the GRIDLIFE guys. Yeah, I think they're going to go for it all in. They're going to keep that 42, or at least, sorry, 42. I'm so used to the actual numbers. The 48 at Connor Horn at Bay.
So if you look back, Johnny Thomas is the next best 3-wide driver in 8th. I think 3-wide has to work on getting a couple of their guys even closer to the front because, again, GRIDLIFE swept the podium at the Glen, and if 3-wide sweeps the podium here, it's going to matter as to who gained, again, it all comes down to however many points they had before. So again, it's saying final lap. We still have 2 to go recorded. And Grunberg, Rich, and Close have been in control of this, but Connor Horn threatening as well.
Trying to find where the next few GRIDLIFE cars are. I think the next one I see is Ken O'Seal in 14th. And then Eric Coutil in 17th. So not a bad showing for them, all less. And remember, all this race is for them. Really, I guess, damage mitigation. They're obviously at a disadvantage, not being as experienced as a lot of the other guys. They just want to try to finish as high as they can. And also just putting all their trust into Ryan Carwell. I mean, I raced against him in a practice session for a little bit. He really impressed me on the pace that he had. But, man, I didn't expect him to be in the top 5 when it came down to it. He's done a fantastic job out there.
Yeah, honestly, he was a late entry. He wasn't even supposed to be in the race until about 5 minutes before we started, and we let him in late. And, boy, is he performing in that 71. And honestly, it's all about how many points this 71 car can get, because those top 3 I don't think are going to change a whole lot here.
Yeah, and even just looking too at Connor Horn, he was officially a late entry, winning the Open, just getting himself in there, and here he is in the top 4 making some noise, although kind of expected him to, but not disappointing me at all.
All right, so we should hopefully get the 1 to green this time through. And we'll see if that is the case. Lights shut off. Here we go. It's going to be 2 laps the next time we come on through. And of course, Grunberg going to choose that inside lane this time. Cameron Rich on the outside. And Connor Horn for ORL is going to try to do his best to get points starting from 4th spot. Mitch Welker. How about this for fuel? Welker definitely performing extremely well, sitting in 6th with that number 76 fuel Impala SS. Predictions.
I honestly don't know. I think 3-wide is going to still sit pretty with us.
If we go 1 lap successfully, we'll end this race in green flag conditions. If we have a wreck before the leader takes the white flag, we'll have another yellow, we'll re-rack him, restack him, and try again. My name's Kyle Heyer alongside Finian D'Acuna, and this has been the SYM TV League Showdown, and there's 2 laps left. Out of turn 4, the Ford FR500 pace car is going to peel off. It's 3-wide cars protecting the podium, trying to stick it to the GRIDLIFE guys after Watkins Glen. Who's going to win the 2019 League Showdown? Pace cars off. Grunberg launches, green flag back in the air.
Yeah, here they go back. A great start for them, but also for Connor Horn, who's up in there. He's trying to get around on the inside. Oh, he does. He clears him for 3rd. How about that?
Connor Horn trying to do the best that he can for ORL after qualifying in late at the Tsukuba qualifier. To the inside, top spot. Grunberg's got it. Ooh, that's going to get real dicey out of turn 2. The 17 gets turned by the 48. And back into the field. Will we get a caution? We're still green. And there's the caution. Our second green-white checkered happens now.
Oh, I see a 15 car going sideways.
Alex Bell spun on the apron. Steve Ficacci torn up as well. And Connor Horn at fault for that one out of turn 2. Yeah, that's on the 48 for sure. No doubt about that one. And poor Rich, nothing.
Nowhere for Cameron Rich to go.
Nothing Cameron Rich could do. And then those other ORL guys got together, and that's where, the 15, big impact for him and Ronis in the 29. Well, that shook things up a little bit. Look at Carwile still sitting in 4th for GRIDLIFE. Ausil and Kutil will also score points in this. This is going to be a really tight points battle. Remember, GRIDLIFE walked in 11 points over SPEC MX-5. SPEC MX-5 only has one arrow left in the quiver back in 10th. That's the 33 of Chris Henn. I don't think they have anybody else in points-paying position, at least at the moment.
Yep, and still looking at pit road. It looked like Eric Hutton thought about it, or at least was trying to fake out people behind, but no takers except Bailey Turner from 9th. He's going to come on in. I'm actually kind of surprised about that.
Yeah.
Oh! And just blew his... Oh!
Yeah, he's got big damage on that number 9.
I was looking at his car from the back. From the back, it doesn't look as bad as it is from the front. Oh, and actually, Turner was actually able to get a faster pair and just making it to his pit stop.
Well, that's why you save it for the end of the race. And off he goes, does the 9. Well, 3 Wide still got 2 of the top 3 spots, but now Johnny Thomas has to pull his weight and get himself up into the podium here, Finian, to maintain that perfect point score for 3 Wide in race 2.
Yeah, and also behind, too, I'm looking at, sorry, not Eric Hutton, I was looking at Adam Cabot and Mark Emerson. They only got about 8 turns to try to move themselves forward as many places as they can, because remember, yeah, those 3 Wide guys, the way they're sitting, they're going to take a lot of points still. Yeah. Even without Cameron Rich.
Remember, it's 25 points for first, 24 for seconds. That's 49 points that Grunberg and Close would earn for 3 Wide. And don't forget that this is our second green-white checkered. And the sun is going down here. It's getting kind of dark at Michigan, so we're running out of daylight. This is going to be our last green-white checkered. And here's the deal. If the caution comes out, the race is over. So hopefully we can go green to the end. We should probably tell them not to even throw the yellow. If any, we should just let them go green.
You know what? I'll do that.
All right. I don't think we've had enough yellow. I think we can just run green all the way to the end. ORL, 3 Wide, and GRIDLIFE at the top of the grid.
All right, just pass the word off to race control. They were thinking the exact same thing, so...
All right. Looking from high above, you see the light fading from Michigan Speedway. Again, thank you for everyone for coming on board. And this race has been a little messier than the Watkins Glen race was, but I'd say all in all, pretty well done. This is a difficult combination. Of course, the intention is that next season or next year we can do the same thing, maybe with a different car and track combination.
I mean, honestly, I hope so too, because... but yeah, these guys tonight in general just put on a hell of a show. This is some of the best oval racing we see. Obviously, would have hoped for a few more green flag laps here and there, but the green flag laps we had, spectacular stuff from these guys.
Grunberg and Sam Close running 1 and 2. Eric Hutton, Ryan Carwile. I'm just so impressed with that 71. And this, honestly, is a really good showing for GRIDLIFE in the oval side of things. Hausil and Kutil running inside the top 15. That's impressive for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, too, Carlisle alone might have just saved GRIDLIFE's chances if he can keep that spot. He's still got to hold up quite a few strong guys, but I mean, if he can finish 4th, 5th, and if they end up winning the points, they're going to be looking at the 71 as their MVP.
As they run, Finian, 3 Wide, 2 points over GRIDLIFE.
Wow.
And ORL 2 points behind that. It's going to be mighty close here for the last Couple laps, we get the 1 to green, and it's going to be 2 to go when we restart. This is going to be really dicey. Mitch Welker sitting in 5th place. Fuel has not had a spectacular run tonight, but Mitch Welker and Zach Buchanan, I know Zach had some issues this evening, but Buchanan's back up to 17th. How about that recovery after a crash early in the race?
Yeah, fantastic recovery for him. That just kind of shows, you know, never give up till it's over. He's still got a slightly damaged car, but that definitely could have been a lot worse for him. And who knows? If you're planning on going green to the end, he could make up a lot of points here.
I see some damaged and bruised and battered GRIDLIFE cars at their rear, but they are only 2 points from winning this overall. This is really, really tight. 2 laps to go in the 2019 League Showdown. 3 wide currently sits as they run at the top of the board. That's all about where Johnny Thomas finishes. It'd be so easy for him to lose a couple spots here, Finian, and give it back to GRIDLIFE. If Carwile stays where he is and Thomas loses 2 spots, that's going to give it back to GRIDLIFE. This is it.
There you go. Peyton is going to go in for the final time tonight. 2 green flag laps. This is going to be interesting.
I hope so, because my internet is starting to go here. So hopefully we can make it to the end. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go. No!
Oh, no! Damn close. Spinning on the start.
That might be it. Gonna stay green. Everyone trying to get rolling, but this just shook up the entire field. Outsider Racing League comes on through, and hopefully, oh no, the 77!
Oh, no, Cabot! Gets it, Emerson. Emerson blew an engine. He's slowing off the pace.
4 wide through the middle of the field, but it's Grunberg out front. Eric Hutt in 2nd. Johnny Thomas in 3rd. Slipping, sliding. Welker in 4th. Cabot sitting in 5th right now, trying, or actually, no, that's not Cabot in 5th. Emerson's got his motor blown. It's everyone for themselves here the last couple laps here.
In 5th, trying to take over from Johnny Thomas there. He moves up a spot, now fighting with Walker. White flag in the air for Gruenberg.
Last time around, white flag in the air.
Oh, and here we go. Big battle for 3rd place. It's Hinton holding off Thomas. This could be for all the points here.
Oh, Thomas gets in deep on the inside of Hinton.
Oh, Hinton's going to get in the wall. He gets in the wall hard. He's going to be slowing off the pace. Thomas going around. So will Christopher Henn.
Zielinski crashed at the back. Gruenberg out up front. Is he going to win this race? Thomas 2nd. 4 wide down into turn 3. Where's Carwile in all this?
I don't know, but out of turn 4.
Matt Gruenberg wins the race, the League Showdown at Michigan. Hutt in 2nd. They're crashing across the line. And who knows how that's going to result here.
I have absolutely no clue how this is going to end up with these guys. Oh boy, I got some work to do.
Wow. All right, that's your results. Left-hand side of the screen. Chris Henn in 5th place in the 33.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere. That entire, I think we have to, I think we have to go through a lot of that to try to piece together what on earth happened there, because there was a lot of moving parts in those final 2 laps.
Yes, there was. Here's a look at your results real quick. But Gruenberg won. Hutton, Welker, Thomas Henn, your top 5. A little bit of everybody. Coutil up in 8th place in the 82. I don't think GRIDLIFE is going to be able to... Ooh, actually, they finished 11th, 18th, and 19th. That might be good enough to maintain at least some points here. Wow. And we're just waiting on the results to find out. Just waiting for, I hear Finian furiously clicking in the background.
Alright, it's uploaded, and the winner of... Oh man, I actually cannot believe this. Wait, is that actually right?
Oh, double checking. You better double check that.
I am double checking that. Seems to be right, and the winner of the 2019 SYM TV League Showdown is GRIDLIFE.
Wow! GRIDLIFE takes it. It wasn't necessarily a dominant performance, but it all mattered in the late race when all the cars had issues, and I cannot believe that Eric Couture with an 8th place finish racks up just enough points to pass the Oval Leagues. That was impressive. That is impressive. Job well done by GRIDLIFE, both at Watkins Glen and in the Oval side of things. And that goes to show you the dominance that 3-Wide and ORL had. They didn't race clean enough, and I think that was the issue. I mean, they just didn't finish out the race like the GRIDLIFE guys did. The GRIDLIFE guys stayed at the rear for most of it and just managed to miss all the wrecks, or at least most of them, and come on through to win. We're going to talk to your league champions in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SYM TV and the conclusion of the 2019 SYM TV League Showdown, and the winner is GRIDLIFE iRacers. Guys, a phenomenal performance, sweeping the podium at Watkins Glen and doing just well enough at Michigan to claim that you guys are the best league on SYM TV, the most well-rounded. Eric Couture with an 8th place finish, DJ of the 19th, but good enough to get that top spot. Eric, just walk us through those last couple laps and try to dodge all the chaos around you.
My heart's beating too fast. I don't know if I can talk right now. I still need a breather, but that was crazy. We were slowly moving up in the end just because we were trying to keep it clean and not get involved in wrecks. And the last lap, oh my God, people kept wrecking in front of me, and I was doing my best to avoid it. Made a couple of passes, and then I think I got like 8th in the end.
8th
place.
place.
I couldn't believe it. That was insane. I could
Unfortunately,
not believe it.
Ryan got crashed on the restart there, and
Yeah.
Ryan was our circle track ringer. And I think it was Luke or Austin, got wrecked early. I think it was
Yeah.
Austin. So Austin was doing the math as we were racing, so we knew what we had to do and what we had to risk.
I did not
It was a-
expect those crashes at the
it
end.
was an
I kind of
all-around
messed everything
team
up.
So when we
It was
go
an all-around team effort.
when we go back to the
Yeah.
last restart before the end of the race, there was 2 points between you and 3 Wide Racing League, with 3 Wide Racing League having the advantage before the restart. So you guys ended
Was
up
it really?
winning by, I believe, over 10 points. So that that chaos definitely catered. So what was the strategy there early, not taking tires and staying out to try to get some track position?
I got involved in a wreck like within the first couple of laps, so I pitted, got fresh tires and a quick repair. And so I only had 2 lap tires at that point, so I decided to stay out. And then I think it was GRIDLIFE 1 through 4, which was kind of crazy. And we're like, oh man, this is gonna end well. And I overheard some guy like in the circle track leagues, and he's like, oh, those guys are screwed. Yeah, we got past, but I think overall it was a good call because we moved up to the front.
Honestly, we put our strongest contenders in the rear with fresh stuff, and we stayed out in front just to maybe mix it up and cause a little chaos. Honestly, so
Yeah.
we kind of just kept leapfrogging. So some GRIDLIFE people were in the front on each restart. That's kind of what we were trying to do.
Well, I know that probably a little too many cautions for your taste, but are you guys oval converts yet?
I had a lot of fun. I had an awesome time. I did not expect to finish that high, and I don't know. It was just a great time.
It was fun, but I like turning right.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you guys later about the prize allocation and stuff as well. But
Really
congratulations.
appreciate this, guys. You guys killed it. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was super
Awesome.
fun. Thanks, guys. You guys put a lot of work into this, and we appreciate you and all the hard work you did.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
Vinian, I'd say that was a success.
Oh yeah, definitely a success. Fantastic race that these guys put on and a hell of a show, especially there at the end. Didn't really know who was going to win it, and then GRIDLIFE, I kind of was looking at why the points ended up the way they did. And, if we did go by overall, I think it would have been a lot closer, especially with the outsider guys. They earned, in total, 113 points. But the fact is, we only count the top 3, and a lot of the guys that were both in outsiders and 3-wide crashed on the last lap, dropped back, and some GRIDLIFE guys went further up the order, and that's why they ended up on top.
I mean,
Not to mention their 1-2-3 finish at Watkins Glen.
I think Watkins Glen was a spectacular race. Definitely the better of the two, I think, in terms of the action. Of course, Michigan race suffered from, some issues here and there, but you put 43 guys all going for the win on a 2-mile track with 950 horsepower, you're going to have issues. So I think there are definitely points of improvement, but all in all, I think that was reasonably successful. There was a couple short green flag runs in there that went okay. So I think all in all, everything went good. And I'm seeing lots of congratulations interleague in the Discord, which is very, very good. So I'm really looking forward to doing this again next year. So I think that's going to do it for us, Finian, but any final thoughts?
No, just actually, I do have quite a few thoughts. First of all, thank you to all the drivers that showed out for tonight's race. It is amazing to see 40 some odd guys showing up to on pretty much. I mean, they didn't have to show up. There was no really obligation to show up, but a lot of people did show up. It was a great turnout, and everyone just giving it their all. Some fantastic racing, more or less what we expected going into this. But yeah, just really thanks to all the guys that show up, and thank you for the people watching at home for, doing what we do worth it.
Absolutely, and we want to thank everybody for coming on board, everybody for watching at home and supporting your favorite league. And again, the idea behind this was not to create rifts between them, but to bring them together to race. And I think, at least at Watkins Glen, we achieved that to a very high degree. So looking forward to doing it again next year. The next stream that we're going to see is, I believe, on Saturday night, the second to last race in the Outsider Racing League Championship. That is going to be Saturday, this coming Saturday. So looking forward to that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.